Okay. Yo, we're here.
We're here.
We're doing it.
We're doing it.
We're doing it. High five. We're doing it. This is so real. Everyone watching this, what's up? Um, Welcome to our podcast. Are we calling it the Great Unknown Tour Podcast?
I forget.
Whatever the name of it is, you're
The
tuning
Great
in to right
Unknown.
now. I mean, it'd probably be the Great Unknown Tour, but I sense there's something that's even bigger than that, like the Say Yes podcast, or like what we want people to say yes to the Lord, what He's asking them to do.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, that might be it. We'll see.
We'll see.
So we're here. We're here now.
Yes.
The first thing I have on here is how do we come up with the title, but we're not really decided on the title yet.
We can talk about the great unknown still.
Okay.
It's been a theme of our together existence.
Okay. It'd probably be called The Great Unknown. So, The Great Unknown. The Great Unknown. How do we get the name The Great Unknown? The Great Unknown. You go first.
Oh, man. Well, life. Like, what's going to happen tomorrow? I don't know. And so, for us, life already is just an unknown. But for us, it's great because we're doing it with God. So, the great unknown is what we've been saying about our lives and our future since we started dating, since we were about to get married.
One of those. I don't know.
It's all meshed in. But yeah.
I remember for us when we did The Great Unknown. So, The Great Unknown comes from the Great Unknown tour that we did
Yes.
6 years ago. And we called that tour. So the tour was for 11 months from January 2016 to November, right before elections. Like a week before elections, we got back to LA. We traveled the country for 11 months, popping up in, I think it was 32 cities in 21 states. And we did free, my wife, Marisha. Dang, we haven't even introduced ourselves yet. We'll get to that. Marisha, my wife, she did dance workshops for free. And I'm Antoine, hello. I did free hip-hop concerts for free at no cost. It wasn't free to us, but no cost to anyone else. And so we traveled the country doing that, popping up in cities for 2 to 3, at least 2 weeks at a time, sometimes less, a lot of times more. And we would serve
Mostly youth.
Youth organizations.
Talking about
Purpose and identity.
purpose and identity.
So churches, YMCAs, Boys and Girls Clubs, schools, juvenile detention centers,
Campsites,
yes, campsite and Yellowstone. And we did that for 11 months. Right after we got married. We got married December 19th.
Hold on now.
December 19th. I get the 15th and the 19th mixed up all the time. But I got to remember it was 2015. December 19th, 2015. And then that next month in January, we did the Great Unknown Tour. And we wanted to a few different things. We wanted to see God in creation, like travel, because we hadn't been able to travel. You feel like, I need more money, need this, need that. But we're like, we just want to go for it. We just want to go and see what God has created.
Do it now.
Yeah. Don't wait. We didn't love the idea of like you work for a year, then you vacation for a week, and then you keep doing that over and over again. We wanted to like not get away from our lives, but just experience God different and integrate our gifts into different areas and places, and not just go and vacation and not do anything, but go and like be with the people in these different places, but also see what God has created, right? 2, we wanted to use our gifts because at the time personally, I felt like as a hip hop artist living in LA, we were living in LA at the time. It felt like, man, the only place I can use my gift, like sometimes at church, but not really, because it's like that. Like a lot of churches don't know what to do with hip hop artists besides put them in a youth service, you know. But like in the main service, no. But then in the music scene, you're either like trying to move up the ladder, or it's usually trying to move up the ladder or earn money, and it just felt like a bridled um, aspect of like putting your gift out there. It always was tied to like get more money or get more fans or whatever. But like I just wanted to use the gift as much as possible. I just wanted to, connect with people doing the music, like connect them with God with the music, whatever. Yes, I want to earn money from it and get more popular doing it, but mostly I just want people to hear the stuff that God wanted to say to them. And I just wanted to do it anywhere as much as possible. And so why not just it sounds so crazy now, but why not just pop up in cities doing it? This was a God thing that he gave us, but it just matched our heartbeat already. And then it was
Right. Let's emphasize that the idea came from God.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Like, yes, people
For
tour,
sure.
yes, people have done this, but we didn't think about doing it. Like, that wasn't
Yeah.
always on your radar. Touring, yes, because you're an artist, but the way that we did it and doing it like right after we got married,
Yeah.
leaving, the hometown and not knowing like what was gonna happen next, or having like a year's salary saved up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
We weren't planning this for a year. Like we were planning it for like 3 months maybe, while planning our wedding.
Yes.
And while packing
Yes.
and moving out of both of our places.
Yes.
And so we would sometimes not know where we were actually going to go next or have the money to get there, but we just knew God sent us and that it would work out.
Yes. Well, I mean, we can get into that. Yeah, good point.
I skipped a lot, didn't I?
Well, I think you brought up something that I didn't, that I skipped, was like, God gave me this idea one day, the day after actually a powerful time performing at this like open mic. And the next day, God just like, the Holy Spirit just dropped this tour idea, just like, like when you see Star Wars and it's the beginning, like once upon a time, it was like that, and I couldn't keep up, and I was just typing like, oh, slow down, Jesus, I gotta write, and so then I called Marisha, like, guess what, guess what God told me, and we've been married at this point now, at the filming of this, like almost 7 years, so she knows me a lot more, but at that point,
At that time, we were dating,
like
engaged.
like over a year.
And I had just started ministry school. So I was like in the middle of the semester, right?
Yeah.
Or just started and came over. We were talking in my car, I remember. He came out, we were sitting in my car, and you were like, God just downloaded like all this stuff. And you told me, and I was like, but I just started the school and we're not even married. And like,
we were engaged.
I don't understand, but at least it's a plan. Like, I'll go for a plan. I'm a planner. Like, if you got a plan, I'm there. Like, I'll shoot, and make it like, oh, this is how it's gonna like all work out. But it was crazy. It was crazy. But I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Not what I was expecting. But
and
whoa.
I had never done. Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, just whoa.
I had never done anything like that. I mean, I moved to LA. I'm originally from Ohio. For anybody listening, I'm from Ohio originally, and I was living in LA after moving there a few years prior to that. We could talk about how I even got there. That's a crazy story too. But in God,
That's a God story.
Yes,
Not a
that's a
crazy
God.
story. A God story.
A God story. But even like deciding to do this, we had that conversation. We weren't really sure, I wanted to go that day, actually. I
Yes.
wanted to be like,
Yes.
let's start the
Antoine was
tour
ready to
next week.
leave.
Like, I'm going to go by myself. Let's go next week. Because we're not married. So I was like, that doesn't make sense to say, like, yo, come on this tour that I feel like God just called me to do.
No.
Like, that's not how we were living our lives. Like, that would be a problem, at least in my opinion, for us to have done that. So I was like, I'll just go by myself, thug it out. I don't know. But we talked, and this is the beauty of Marisha, my wife, is like so many times talking me off a ledge or helps me to slow down the process of stuff. So I'm grateful for that at that time and now,
Aw.
of um, just talking about like, okay, let's get married first, because we had a year before had planned to get married, and then we postponed the wedding. So we were in this like limbo season of like, when are we going to get married? And we had been actually disagreeing about when to get married, where I should live, where we should live at that time. And so this idea that God gave really helped us to hone in on something. Correct me if I'm remembering it wrong too, but hone in on something and start to focus. And so things start to fall in place. Like, okay, if we're going to say yes to this and we're going to do it together, let's get married first and let's go do it. Because I had been looking for homes. I had been living with a family who was gracious enough to let me live with them. Another God story we can get into another time.
Right. Let's.
I've been living with a family, and um, we were trying to figure out where we were going to live afterwards and looking for apartments and all that. And I just didn't have the bank records that all these places wanted to have, like all these months of bank records and money and all that stuff
You're an
in the
artist.
back. And so I had been doing lots of things, creative entrepreneurship in a freelance kind of way, doing shows, doing video for people, branding for people, all this different stuff. And so,
Volunteering at church.
volunteering, leading things at church. And so we just didn't have all those credentials that the banks wanted. Not the bank, the apartment complexes wanted.
The whole thing was like the upside down world. Like if you think about how you start dating someone or how you meet someone, that first meeting, or how you date someone, how you get engaged, how you get married, how you do your finances, like what order all that stuff goes in, like if there was a manual, which is not. Like getting married is kind of like having kids. Like we went through an extensive like marriage prep course, and it still did not prepare you
For
us
sure.
for like what was to come. You know
For
what I
sure.
mean?
For sure.
But if there was a manual, like it was whatever we did seemed opposite of like both of our families were like, what? Like
Yeah.
what is going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we could not be more sure, you know what I mean, ourselves about each other. Like things looked crazy at times for us at the same time, and then for us separately. Both of our lives were like God was just doing stuff and doing it fast, I think. And that's what kind of threw me, at least, for a loop. Like, whoa, like all of this is blowing up. One thing that did happen, because you talked about like doing things like the traditional way and like finances, like right when we got together and got engaged, God led me to quit my job. Like I had been looking for like, when do I exit and like start this business thing that God's been putting on my heart in this ministry. And then all of a sudden he was just like, now. And so I did like all the right stuff. Like I think I gave like 2 months notice. Like that's a long time. And like got counseling about it. And I was just like, it doesn't make sense, because getting married and like starting a life with someone, that's when you need the finances.
For
Like
sure.
that's when you need the job. Like
Yeah.
but we can get into like how we met more later, or do you want to continue it?
No, we stay on
Okay.
track for what we were talking
Okay,
about, the
okay,
tour, because we
okay.
were talking about,
Okay, the Great Unknown Tour.
yes, how
After
we
we
got
got
here.
married, a month later, we got in the car with all of our belongings.
Wait,
Most of them.
let's even back up further.
Most of them. Some of them are still at my mom's house.
Yes, sorry, Mama Rachel. I will even want to go back. Like, so when we were preparing to get married, we got the wedding together in 3 months, and we paid not maybe $2,000 altogether with all the things we different need. We definitely got help from friends, from her mom.
To get married or to go on the tour?
Get married.
Gotcha.
So then when we got married, here's what I wanted to get to. When we got married, when we were doing
friends and friends hooked us up.
Yeah.
For sure.
When we got married, we were like, yo, since we're going on tour, don't give us
Oh yeah,
the stuff.
Crock pots
Yeah.
and
Actually, it could have worked out better because we could have said, give us all that stuff and sold it. I think that's a bit shiesty. But we said, don't give us all the stuff you give married couples. Just give us money because we're doing this tour. So we probably, because we probably could have got like even more money if we sold stuff. Anyways, that's beside the point.
yes.
We said, don't give us money. Give us.
We are honest.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, business wise, like flipping that stuff could work. Anyways. Said, don't give us the items, give us the money because we're doing this tour. So we had like $3,000. I would maybe even more. Maybe we had like 4. I remember when we left we had like 3, but we had like I think we got like $3,000 to $4,000, and that was what we were going to live off of for the next year for the duration of the tour. And so after I did my calculations about what we were going to do. I mean, we did our calculations of like, our bills, lodging. We did Airbnb that year.
Like mapped out the whole
Mapped out
trip.
stuff. Like financially, I knew that we would make it to Texas, which was like the first
Yeah.
third of our leg. Like
So our plan was to go south.
From LA, yeah.
From LA. We started in LA.
We started in LA, yeah. We talked about living in LA.
Then we kind of did like a oval, like South Texas all the way east up to New York, then across northwest, and
Pacific
then back
Northwest,
down,
then down, yeah. We
California.
didn't really hit the middle too much. Yeah. And so I knew that we would get to Texas, specifically Austin. I knew that we would get to Austin
That's
around late
super
March.
early.
Yeah, around late March we get to Austin, and that would be the end of our money. So we could end up potentially stranded and just, I guess, make a life in Austin, I guess, because we would have to find something. If God didn't
Yeah, we really didn't
show
know
up.
what was what.
And so that's how the great unknown came into views, because we wanted you summed it up best, so I won't add to that. I'll just talk about my experience of just wanted to there it is. We wanted our marriage to be categorized as an adventure with God. There we go. And like in an adventure, which is our son's name, he's 2. In an adventure, there's so much unknown, and it's a great unknown. Like you said, like it's exciting, but there's
Yeah.
ups, there's downs, there's scary stuff, there's exciting stuff, there's a lot of things going on. I wanted, like, the scripture that we had for our marriage in our first wedding rings was Ephesians 3:20, chapter 3, verse 20. God can do exceedingly abundantly more than you can ever ask or think of, according to the power that works within us. And so we wanted our marriage to be categorized by that, and to be categorized as following God in this great unknown. We wanted to shed like the traditional, and this is no shot to anybody who likes that either, but we felt like, yo, why are we settling for the expectation of like building somebody else's business, not doing the stuff we created for, unless like on the weekend, and just settling. It felt like settling to us. If that's something that you love to do, own that. But it just felt like settling to us, and we wanted to.
We knew we didn't know everything, but we knew part of our purpose is that we weren't fulfilled and thriving in that type of environment, and we wanted to make sure that we did at all cost. So we sacrificed a lot in order to pursue that,
Mm.
to pursue God. You know what I mean? And find out like what's on that other side.
Yeah, I don't
Like
be thinking about the sacrifices.
I'm willing to take the risk. I mean, it
I know that's
is.
good. I'm glad you said that. Like I've never thought about like all that we've sacrificed. So thank you
Yeah.
for saying that. Thank you for saying that. We have sacrificed a lot, a lot. I think it's been worth it though.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, yeah. So that's
That's the great thing about God, because He knows what's on the other end. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like if He's truly a good God, then us following Him is just following Him into more goodness. So we're like, I mean, there are definitely ups and downs, but I think the downs and the worry come from us not knowing and not knowing God. Like,
yeah.
so on this journey, we got to know God.
Hey,
You know, that was our biggest takeaway at the end, was like, what do we get? Like, I know God so much better now. Like, He's so different than I expected. And both of us grew up in church, served in church,
yeah,
ministered. Like we were like, I mean, we didn't think like, I know God, I got Him down. Like, I can recite all these Bible verses. No, we weren't like that, but we had an existing relationship. Like, we had some experiences already under our belt individually. So this just like expanded us even more so. And then on a natural level too. I'm talking about the tour more. Cut me off. Like, on a natural level, just like me growing up in LA all my life, I was like, this is where everyone wants to be. Everything is here. You got all the California stuff. If I want snow, I can just go go to
it's so
Big
sad.
Bear,
It's so sad.
Mammoth, like all, like I can
So
go
sad.
snowboarding, like I can go to a lake, I can go to desert, I
Yeah.
can, Palm Springs, I got ocean, 15 minutes from my house. I got whatever it is. Like,
No, no, not even 15 minutes, y'all. 3 miles. She lived 3 miles
yeah, but
from
it
the
takes
beach.
it still takes 15
I
minutes.
know, but I'm saying
That's
I
not
want.
including finding parking.
You're right. You're right. Yes, yes, yes. That would
But
be
yeah, if you
15
took a
with
bike
parking.
there or something,
Yes,
I'd
if
be.
you ran, yes.
Oh, I miss it. But like, one of the major experiences driving into Texas, you laughed for days and told
In Houston,
everyone. I was
Houston,
just like,
downtown Houston.
what are all these? Like, the freeways were crazy. It's just massive. Like, the buildings, I was like, this is bigger than downtown LA. Like, people talk all this about downtown LA and LA, one of the biggest cities. I'm like, I don't know. I think it's just some hype like Hollywood puts out there to get everyone to move there or something. I don't know. But like, Texas, I thought I was going to see a lot of tractors, a lot of cows,
Mm.
a lot of like just open space, which I'm sure is there.
We did. I mean,
But
we saw a lot of open space on the highways and stuff, but in the
oh
city
yeah,
centers,
the yes, but the cities are humongous,
yeah.
and like the diversity, and it's not LA, but it's still more diverse than I expected. But anyway, like stuff like that, unfortunately, I'll confess, like blew me away. And then just God everywhere. All the different churches that we went to, all the different places, like God is everywhere. Like, and the same. It's not like, oh, y'all worship different, so the God is different.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's
Yeah.
it's literally, it just sounds silly saying out loud, that God is the same everywhere in the U.S. I guess that's
Nah,
because
nah,
I'm
nah.
maybe born in the U.S. Like, it's just like
I don't think so.
like a sheltered mindset. Like, I'm just really glad that I got exposed naturally and like spiritually to there being way more me, because
Hmm.
it just takes me to know God better, but also believe for more and expect more. And like, now I want to go outside the US. Like,
For
how
sure.
different would that be? My mind, like, I've never been outside the States. So, well, Canada, but I don't really count that.
And we went to Canada during the Great Unknown tour.
Okay. I'll let you go.
No, you're fine.
What's next? What's next?
What's next? I think we can end right there, actually.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, I mean, we're almost at time, but
Okay.
I think we can wrap it up. I think I thought we were going to get into way more, but that's how we that's how we got here. That's why this is
Yes.
called the Great Unknown. It's called the Great Unknown Podcast. I guess
Yeah.
you just figured it out. Aha! There you saw it real time.
Oh
Um,
man.
that's why it's called. That's why it's called the Great Unknown Podcast. Our hope and our desire, our prayer, is that you would say yes to the great
Yes.
unknown that God is asking you to step into. You know, like not traveling the country, which we're working on right now. That's what we are, getting the RV, and we are
Yes.
getting on the road, taking this podcast on the road to talk to
Yes.
other family. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so great. Talk
These
to other
families
families
too. Yeah.
about how God is having them step out into the great unknown. Regular people, not celebrity Christians, which is like, what? That is weird. Celebrity Christians, put that to the side though. But like just regular, everyday people like us, like you,
Making
who
major moves, like doing
doing amazing things.
incredible things.
Yes, yes. Well, hopefully they say yes, because we haven't reached out to them to ask them to be on it yet. But we know some people who are following God, and it's amazing. And you just you won't hear about it, right? Because we don't like people who, all of us following God. You watching this, we're not doing this to like, oh, you know, give me a whole bunch of followers because I'm following God. Like, it's just what you do. We love God. We think we
Yeah.
love God. He's changed our life. We're gonna follow him. That's what we do. That's who we are. And so we hope that this podcast encourages you
Yeah.
to know that God is trustworthy and that he will come through for you. He will sustain you. He will look out for you. He will bless you. Like
Yeah.
anything that you give up for the Lord, if he's asking you to do something that's crazy, give the $50 and you only got $50, he going to give you that $50 back and more. Or he
Yeah.
gonna give you whatever you needed to buy with your $50 that you didn't want to give the $50 for to you, and you won't even need the $50. Like, God has blessed us to have these stories to share, to
Hilarious.
encourage you and encourage other people who are doing this thing, to know like God is out here moving. He's out here. He wants to bless you, and not like win that $1 billion lottery, but like give you wholeness, right? Mature you, give you joy, give you peace, kindness, relationships that change your life.
Yeah.
Like meeting my wife, my God.
Yeah. That was a God. Yes. Yes.
You know
Please
what I
stay
mean?
tuned for we'll do a just how we met and
Yeah.
got married story, and I believe it'll bless you
Yeah.
and encourage you.
Yeah.
But yeah, to add to what you're saying, I would just say God just wants to be a part of our lives and like wants us to know he designed us for something.
Mm.
You
Amen.
know,
Amen.
like
Yeah.
there's a purpose for us, and everyone is different, everyone is unique on purpose, and part of the journey, part of the great unknown is finding out what that is. And as you get to know God, like as I've gotten to know God, I get to know more of myself and who I am and how he's built me and what he's built me for. And being in relationship with people helps strengthen that and broaden that also. And so if you feel like you connect with us, like reach out for sure,
Yeah.
because we would love to have friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That are doing this, that are walking this out also. And, you know, we're married and we have 2 kids, 2 and 4.
2 and 4.
And
Montana
we are
Grace
still doing it. Like
and
we are
Adventure
determined to
James.
do it. Like we have definitely felt the opposition or the resistance to like
Get to this
just
moment right here.
yes, just chill out and just do every day the same. Make it easier. Like it's cool. Everybody else does it or seems to be doing it, but it's like something on the inside of us just isn't. Nah, we're like nah. This is not. It's
Yeah.
just not gonna happen. It just rises up on the inside of us. The Holy Spirit rises up on the inside of us and is like, no, do something different.
Yeah.
So he'll like shake up
Well,
our
I've
days.
like do something different because I've made you for more.
Right, because yes, made you for more than what we're doing. So we
Yeah,
know that this isn't everyone's journey.
for
This
sure.
isn't everyone's to do. And
For
even
sure.
if you are saying yes to God, that doesn't mean you're going to travel the world or quit your job or like, you know,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to look crazy. We're saying crazy because it goes maybe against your
For
personality or
sure.
your thought for your
For sure.
future or your family's thought for
For
what you're
sure.
expected to
Yes.
do or something like that. But
Yes.
on the inside, it's like a peace and a rest of like, this feels like home. Like, this feels like the place where I'm supposed to be. And this feels like where God is. So
Yeah,
let me
yeah.
go with like that flow. Let me go with where God is and where He's leading me. And I'm excited. What else? What else is next? Like we'll talk about
I
next
don't
time.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll talk about it.
What
We'll
we're
get
doing,
into
we're gonna do the same type of thing where we travel like around the U.S. We've kind of mapped that out. We just need to ask the couples like, hey, can we interview you? I'm sure they'll say yes because they're all friends of ours except for one maybe.
I think so.
And have some incredible stories for you. I can't wait to hear too, like
Yeah, for sure.
how people are following God right now. Um, what else? Hear
We'll
more stories about the Great Unknown
Yeah, we'll
tour.
get into what we'll get into is talking about this RV tour that we're doing, what she just mentioned. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about
How we got there to
yeah,
doing
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
after
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
almost 7 years.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We'll talk about how we even arrived at that conclusion to do that. We'll talk about we'll have like a couple stories if you want to from the first Great Unknown tour. Um, we'll have a couple stories from that. I think we should do one right now.
Okay.
I don't think we should do a whole episode. I think we should do one, and then we'll go into the next, then go into the tour next time.
Okay.
I think.
Time out.
Yes.
What else do we need to cover?
Um,
What's in the notes
what I
to
just
like
said.
cover?
The tour, the Now tour.
The Now tour.
What God did with the other one.
We talked about that already, right?
We didn't have like I want to tell one story
Oh, okay.
before
So
we
one
get off
story,
today. Just one story of like
what God
from
did.
from
Okay.
like no a specific example. Sorry.
Okay. Like
Yes.
San Diego
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah, one of those.
Yellowstone.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the tour, the Now tour,
How we got there, like
what we're doing, how we
like
got there.
Ohio to DC, the job,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
all that. Okay. And then the Now tour of like
Yes.
where we're gonna go and what it's gonna be about.
Yeah,
Okay.
and how people can support.
And then how people
But
can
that's kind of
support.
like that'll be in the next one because we'll talk about the website and all that stuff.
Okay. So this one
We're
gonna
done.
edit it. We're done.
I
All
just
right.
want to tell that last. We're going to tell this last story and we'll be done.
And it'll be a part of the first one.
Yeah, this will all be the first one.
Gotcha. That might be a long first one. Okay. Then
We'll tell the story.
the
quick.
next one will do the how we got to this point, what the tour is going to be about, all that stuff, and how you can support.
Yes.
Okay. Can I tell a story too?
Yeah, if
Okay.
you want to. All right.
So we're back.
What story we gonna tell, man?
Do we do the clap thing again?
No, this is all gonna be still.
No, you can't
Yes.
do that to me. This whole conversation is going to be part of it.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
I'm new to this.
Yes, it should be.
All
I
right.
think so because look, we'll put it out and let people see if they enjoy that part because this is something we are not coming. We're coming to this as like we're just here. We're having fun. We're friends. They're friends. Strip this down so that they can know that they can do this too.
All right.
Right? Like
Welcome to our world.
We figured that out in real time, but I think that's important to see.
Welcome to our world.
I think that's important to see. If y'all think it's not important to see, just tell us after you watch this. But I have a feeling they're going to say it's important to see.
If they're like me, they're going to be like, edit all that out.
No.
I got 20 minutes before my kids wake up from their nap.
That's real. That's real, but I think
I'm trying to hide in this kitchen here and wash dishes while I listen to this podcast. I got 20 minutes, y'all.
I think the
That's not what I do. That's what my husband does, by the way.
That's what she thinks I do.
He'll be like, I cooked dinner. He'll be in there for an hour. I'll go in there like, I can't hear you. I'm listening to this podcast. Hold on.
Because I'm trying to stay focused. I have sometimes issues staying focused. Those things help me stay focused.
Okay. Hilarious.
Story. I'm just going to tell the San Diego Airbnb story.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be long, but I just feel like we should end it with this.
Okay. Can you start from the beginning then? Of the whole San Diego story?
Like from your mom's house?
Yes.
Yeah. So, it's time to start the tour. It's January. Don't know what day this was when we left.
Yeah.
January.
I can't tell you.
Late January, middle January. We're at her mom's house. We got everything packed in the car.
Saying bye.
And we're just chilling at her mom's house.
Hanging
out, saying bye. She's never been away from her family for this long. She's getting married. It's an emotional time. It's her brother, her mom, and her. And that's the nuclear part of their family, right? So they're usually together. And so, shout out to Aaron, by the way.
Hey, brother.
The video might have stopped. It's okay.
Do you want me to check?
No, we'll be okay. If it stopped, it stopped. The audio keep going. I could just post a picture for the rest of it.
Okay.
It'll be fine. We can't get any more anyway. So we can't.
Gotcha.
We're not going. I would have to transfer the video. It's not gonna. It's not gonna transfer right now.
Y'all, we need a camera.
For sure. Hey, listen. If you're listening,
we're doing this off our phone right now.
We're using our phone right now. So if you have a camera that you want to donate so we can film longer videos, Jesus, please. If you know somebody you got to connect, if you want to give one away, we need a camera ASAP. All right, get into the story. We're at her mom's house.
First stop, San Diego.
First stop is San Diego. We're sitting at her mom's house. The day is getting later and later because I'm terrified of leaving. Because if you ever stepped out on faith, there ain't nobody. Most of the time, God be like, yo, go do this thing. You plan, you do all the stuff to go. There's no cheer team. There's no squad there like, you can do it. Go ahead. Follow the Lord. Nah, it's you and your feelings and the thing. And there's no starting gun at a race pow, start following God. No, it is you have to do it. God will empower you, but you got to do it. So I'm sitting there anxious, scared, yo, we about to really drive in this country.
San Diego's only 2 hours away.
I'm thinking about the whole tour, though. If I start this, we not coming back. We told everybody about to do this thing. God told us it's 3 months away. Am I crazy? Are we crazy? What am I doing? We just sit. I can't move. So I'm paralyzed. I can't move. And we just sitting there the whole
day. And I have
day.
no idea. I just know he's quiet and then he disappears to the bathroom.
I think I was praying.
For I don't know how long, but I'm just chilling
praying.
at my house, with my mom and brothers. So I'm
praying.
Man, he really had to use the bathroom.
Praying. Just because it's just I'm anxious inside. I'm just I can't do this, God. I can't do this. We can't do this. Because we don't have a place to stay in San Diego.
I did not know this either.
We don't have a place to stay in San Diego.
All of these places, because I've never been anywhere else, are places that are his friends. Mm-hmm. Your friends or family members or people you went to college with and then they dispersed around the country.
Yeah.
We didn't do that in LA. We either you're not from LA and then you just stay in LA, or you're from LA and you stay in LA. Very few people move once you're maybe 50, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm okay, cool. I'm gonna meet all your friends and family, and most of them I helped you like plan out and was there when you were talking to them, and like this one was like a sure thing. This one was like a
Yeah.
sure, like we
Shout out to Mookie.
definitely, we don't even have to worry about, where we're staying, because the place that we were going to go minister and like speak to the youth was a relationship you already had, and like you
Yeah.
had already gone there
I've been down
a
there
few
three times,
times to
three
like do
times to work with
shows
their
and
youth
stuff.
ministry, and there was a school. It was a youth ministry that worked with the school, and so they were able to go into school, like have a youth, like a Christian youth program, and so I would go down there and
Yeah,
do stuff for the youth ministry or do stuff for the youth ministry working
at
with
the
the school.
school.
Yeah, and I had
So
a great
we
relationship with Mookie. Mookie Cunningham, their youth pastor, who's
shout
also
out
from
to
Ohio. I
Mookie.
didn't know that until I met him, and so he's like a big bro to me. And the goal was to hit him up, like, "Yo, can we stay with you and your wife?" But just logistics. This is where like the compliments and merits come in, because like logistics aren't my first um, thought, right? Like vision, like the big picture. The big picture is my thought. Like what needs to happen? What's the vision? And like logistics usually just get settled out as I'm going forward. Like I'm like a jump off the cliff and like we'll figure it out as we're going down. But a lot of people can't jump off the cliff, right? And so
Yeah,
like
you're real good at jumping off the cliff.
that's something that God has given me. But like um,
And
Marisha here
the
now,
idea.
Marisha here
Yeah.
now is really good at logistics. But like
We had just got married,
yeah,
so we hadn't, like when we were planning it, because I was in school, um I was like, if I'm going to go, I need you to call these people. And I need to know ahead of time, like, we have a place to stay and stuff, and like how long it'll take to get from one place to the other, how much gas.
and I had done that
And
for him. I just hadn't followed up. That was
yeah,
my
yeah,
issue. I
yeah.
didn't follow up later.
You did a really good job planning,
Thank you,
because you did
sweetheart.
most,
That was really
a
difficult for me.
majority of that all by yourself.
That was really. I am what people would call like a traditional creative in that sense of
Even when
like.
we got to the cities, like finding people and places to go, like you did a great job.
Yeah, that was a huge growth point that God did. I'm way better than that,
But
but
that one just slipped
yeah.
through the
Well,
cracks.
I hadn't followed through, and it was the day of, and I felt shame.
And it
There
was
it
nighttime.
is.
It was like already dark, I think, when we
Yeah,
left.
yeah. I was feeling shame about not having hit him up already, and so it's just like, bruh, we driving down here,
So y'all,
and
we're
I
on the
messed up.
freeway. We're on the
So we
freeway,
started
like
driving. So I got
an
the
hour
strength,
in.
and we left. And yes, so
And I'm
San Diego's 2 hours from LA.
I'm like, babe, put it in the GPS. Like, where we going? Like,
I just put San Diego into Google Maps and
I'm
drove.
like, where exactly? Like, what? And then he's like, I got something to say. On the freeway.
I don't remember that, but I believe you.
Do you remember the conversation?
No,
Okay.
I don't
Basically, it
remember
was
the
like, we
conversation
don't
at all.
have, I don't know where we're going. Like, we can't stay at Mookie's. I didn't follow up with them, so he's got like in-laws at
Yes,
the
he had like
house.
some. Yeah, he had.
He was
people
like,
staying
sorry,
at the house.
man. And it was late, so it was like kind of too late to figure something else out, because he was like, I can try to call and figure something else out. And so
He didn't figure it. He wasn't able to.
we almost slept in the car. That was like the worst
We did
first
sleep in the
night.
car.
We didn't. We stayed in that nasty Motel 6 with the
Oh, we
hair.
slept in a
With
car
the
in
hair.
Texas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Austin.
Yeah, yeah,
Just for a few hours.
yeah. Just for a few hours.
But yeah, that was the one time we slept in the car. But this one, we did do the hotel, but it was
Yeah, it was the
grimy.
motel,
And
yeah.
I was like, this ain't it. Maybe this ain't God. Like, this is a royal screw up. Like, what in the world? I'm out here with someone that's just telling me now this information, and we, barely have enough money. Now we're spending money staying at this place, and I'm in like honeymoon phase still. I'm like, this is gonna be so romantic. We're traveling the states and exploring and to try new food and new places, and like total like honeymoon mine. And the first place we stay is a grimy Motel 6 at some, we don't even know where we are in San Diego. But anyway, that passes, and we actually get to the church and the school.
No. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, the next day we get an Airbnb.
Yes. That's the story I want to tell.
Yeah, but that didn't happen until like a week later. Like we stay there for
Okay.
a week,
All right.
and while we're there,
No, go ahead. No, go where you were going.
okay,
Sorry.
I'll let you tell the Airbnb story. But we
Okay.
get an Airbnb, and it's
like
like
the suburbs of San Diego.
suburbs. It's really pretty. It's like in some hill somewhere, and
They had a lot of strict rules.
they had a lot of strict rules, which I liked because there were other people staying there. So it wasn't just us. So you had to be very clean, quiet, and I liked that. Staying with other people, did not like. Honeymoon phase. You don't want to. Anyway, it was cool. It was cool and nice for my first Airbnb. It actually wasn't. We stayed in Airbnb after we got married. Anyway, the school and the church was so fun, and I had no idea what we were going to do. I don't like talk. I'm not a speaker or like like speaking performer. Like my perform is dance and maybe instrument like when I was younger, but there's no speaking in that. Like this is, you're great with people, relationships, making relationships, creating like chemistry with people and like speaking, telling stories. And so I was like nervous that whole year about just talking, even though I was for the cause. And so for our first like 20 minutes with the school at lunchtime of the kids that join the like Christian club.
Mm-hmm.
And they told us like most of them come because they get free pizza.
Yes. Shout out to the free pizza.
And they were like, you guys got 20 minutes. And we were like,
No.
We had 10.
It was like 5.
Well, we
It
were
might have
like,
been 10.
you take 5 minutes,
Okay,
I'll
it was
take
10.
5 minutes.
So then it was
Because we were
10.
like,
It was
what are we
not
going to
20.
do?
It was not 20. Yeah, so it was like 10 then. Yeah. It wasn't 20.
We were like, you take 5, I take 5. And so I remember you started because I like didn't want to talk at all. I was really hoping he just went over his time. And then at the end, we talked about what God has to offer them and like asked if anyone wanted to accept God and like believed in Jesus and like had them, if you want this, repeat after me, and like said the prayer, and then had them raise their hands or stand up if they did that. And like it was like over 10 kids that stood up.
Mm-hmm.
And my heart just broke at that point. And I was just like, okay, God, I surrendered. At that moment, I surrendered everything. I said, I'll sleep in the car. Like, I'll sleep in the car. I'll take the unknown. I'll take the bunch of Airbnbs. Because I was even against Airbnb before we left.
Yes.
We had this whole
Yes.
conversation of like staying somewhere weird, And I was like, I'll do it for those 10 kids. For those 10 kids. And I knew like from that moment on, well, we knew from that moment on, like, this is what God has us doing. Like, God is in this for sure, and He will see us through, like, every step of the way.
Yeah.
That's what made it for me.
Yeah. Let's get into the Airbnb.
Yeah.
So we're staying at this Airbnb, and this was a cost that we hadn't put in our budget, right? Because we're going to stay with Mookie and his wife. And so the Airbnb was like $300 a week. Yeah, it was like $300 a week. So it was like, dang, we about to, like we're cutting into our thing already. Like we didn't plan on paying that much already. And so we paid, whatever it is, we need to stay. We got to provide. So we paid the $300, and everything was fine. Again, everything was fine. They had a lot of rules, but yeah, it just seemed like they had a lot of rules. But that was our like second Airbnb, so I saw that like some people have that, but it's to make it easier for them as they have more and more guests, especially if you have guests there at the same time, which they did. We paid 300 second week. So on our Airbnb profile, we talked about what we were doing. We talked about the tour, all that kind of stuff while we be staying with people. And so the family there, they're Buddhist. The wife was from, she's Sherpa, which are the people that live on Mount Everest. And the guy, I don't remember where he's from, white guy, but they're Buddhist. And so told them about what we're doing, why we're doing it, and so the week at some point we just talked about that stuff, and then the week comes to renew, and he charged us. It comes time to renew. We need
This
to.
is in it. The email, the Airbnb email.
I need to talk to him. I think he texted me. He texted me or Airbnb somehow. He told me like he's going to charge us. He loves what we're doing, and he's going to charge us 25 cents a night for the next week that we're staying there. 25 from the first week was $300. The second week, 25 cents a night. So it was like whatever 7 times 25 is. What is that? That's $1.75. And he needed to like put on the books like $5 or something because like that was the lowest you can do for Airbnb. But like he charged us that amount, and I was just in a bed thinking to myself like, what? And in terms of like Marisha said, we get to San Diego, and it's like, man, are we doing the right thing? Because people have been telling us too, like, y'all first year of marriage, you shouldn't do this, and just all these different things. And it's like, man, are we crazy? Like, what are we doing? And so then the salvation thing with the kids happened, with the students happened, and then this thing when he's like, oh yeah, it's just 25 cents a night. And I tell Marisha, like, you can go into that part. I go to tell Marisha, like, what just happened, and then
I'm like, huh? What? Read it again. He reads it. I'm like, no. Read it again. And he reads. He's like, here, you read it. I'm like, no. What does it say?
But,
Like, read the whole thing.
We're
He's
getting
like,
into an argument
this is the
about
whole
this price.
thing that it says.
She
I'm like,
did not believe that this was the price.
Right. I was like, I don't believe you. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
That's crazy.
It's not crazy now. Almost like 6 years later. That's not crazy. That's become our life. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But at that point, that was bananas.
Right.
That
and that's
this
how
guy who doesn't believe what we believe extended.
And we didn't know he was Buddhist. We didn't know he was Buddhist. At that point, we were like, is he a Christian? Like, why would he do that? And then we asked him.
You sure?
Yeah.
I feel like I knew, but okay.
Well, you have like a Christian radar thing.
That's still under investigation.
And you were like, I don't know, but like we were unsure to where we asked him. We were like, what made you do this?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, this and that. And maybe I asked him, like, are you Christian? He was like,
those
no,
details
I'm Buddhist.
are fuzzy, but I knew he was Buddhist. But yeah, so that's the story we'll tell about the Great Unknown tour. Is like,
yeah, that was our whole experience.
Stuff like that. And we can get in.
Yeah.
If y'all want, tell us. We'll tell more stories from that. Maybe like have some flashback moments or something. Like have shorter videos of like bonus stories from the Great Unknown tour. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was crazy. That was a crazy way to start off the tour, and I had so much confidence in what we were doing because of what God showed us at that moment.
Yeah.
Of like, I got you.
Yeah.
It was like, I got you. Because everybody tells us, this is the last thing we're going to say, we're getting done, but everybody tells you, plan for the worst is going to happen, and we should plan, we should thinking about that stuff. But the thing about following God is you cannot plan how he's going to show up and bless you. Like,
yeah, and you
can't plan for that.
What are you going to tell God, like, okay, God, that's a great idea. Let me plan it out first. He might be like, okay,
yeah, you
go
do
ahead.
your best. I think you should do
your best. But then A month goes by and you still haven't done the thing because you're still planning.
Oh,
And then hey, you gonna do that thing that we talked about? My
yeah.
great idea. Well, I'm still working out the details, God. Like, you
Mm.
can spend your lifetime working out the details and never get to it. You know what I mean? And maybe that's not the one mission that God has for you in your life. Maybe that's just the small first step or the stepping stone to like something else. Like,
Yeah.
so anyway.
No, it's good. That's good. It's a great way to end this. It's a great way to end this. But just make sure you just know if God, whatever God is asking you to do right now, and you sense that God is asking you to do something right now, and you're afraid of like, what is the future going to hold? Step into it, and also
Yeah.
have peace that God is going to show up in a way that you cannot put on your plan books.
Right.
Our thing right now, what we had planned out, like God has shown up in a different way than we planned. And to me, this episode has gone a lot more better than I wrote down and planned. But it was great to have a guide that we didn't really use. So this is episode 1, the intro, whatever we call it. Thank you for listening. You'll learn more about us as the time goes on. It's really not about us. It's about Jesus. But
Yeah.
if you want to look us up at other places, you can. We'll put our links in the description. We don't need to get into that. We love y'all.
Yeah.
Talk to y'all soon. Another episode will be coming. I don't know. We have to see how long it takes us to do this one.
Yes.
At the very longest, a month, but hopefully
Yeah.
within a couple of weeks. But we'll see, because we're doing a lot of planning to leave for this trip. But yeah, well, actually, we'll definitely do another one because we need to talk about the tour.
Yeah.
So we'll talk to you soon. Either way, y'all have a great day. God bless y'all. Say yes to the great unknown. Dang, that's it. All right, here it is. I'm about to end it. So, guys, something crazy just happened. Marisha and I had the opportunity to minister at a lunch break Christian club. They meet for about the lunch period. It's only about 10 minutes. You get to talk, and then they go eat pizza. And we were wondering if we should even do it. But then God reminded us, like, Antoine, Marisha, I can do anything in 8 minutes, 10 minutes. That's my optimal time for working things out. And so we get here today. We take 14 minutes, and in 14 minutes, 10 kids got saved on a Wednesday.
It was amazing.
During lunchtime.
Amazing.
In 10 minutes. No long sermons, no drawn out songs, just telling them our testimony and offering them salvation, the prayer, and they got saved. What? Shout out to Judah and Mookie and the whole Flood Youth team for letting us do this.
Thank you, Flood.
Thank you, God, for letting us be a part of what you're doing in these students' life. This is exactly what the Great Unknown Tour is about.
Yes.
So praise God, praise the Lord. Everybody keep believing. Thank you for praying for us. That's crazy. 10 minutes and 10 students got saved, man. Like, what? They just made a decision that's changing their life forever, man. Oh my gosh. Just pray that they get a church home. Pray for them to get a church home, to find youth leaders that will pour into them right now so that the enemy does not steal the harvest, that the seeds don't fall on stony ground. Pray for the water to come and pour and nurture that soil. Lord, bring the harvest. Yes.
Bye.
Yes.